This week, we sit down with baseball's Abe Granger and we look at how one Keene State athlete juggles athletics and the struggles of being a first-generation college student, plus your latest men's lacrosse action. Those stories and more up next. I'm Justin Mahan, and this is Inside Owl Athletics. Dozens of KSC students presented projects at the college's Academic Excellence Conference last Saturday, including Keene State senior and women's basketball guard Sandy Purcell. She's a psychology major, and her presentation was on the effects youth sports have upon self-esteem later in adulthood. Purcell says she decided upon this topic because of her own experiences growing up as an athlete.
It's been a part of my life. I know that it's been raising my self-esteem, and it's helped me develop into the person I am, so I wanted to see if that has a lasting impact on a whole population of athletes.
Purcell says she'll be continuing her research throughout the remainder of the semester and will be focusing on why people decide to stop playing a sport. The men's lacrosse team invaded enemy territory on Thursday, facing Plymouth State University.
Keene State up 4-1 in the first quarter, and Dave Wiedenfeld picks up the loose ball, takes a big hit, and finds John Nassif for his 30th goal of the season. Keene State up 11-3 in the third when Hunter Arnold takes the pass from Paul Beeling and nets his 150th career goal. Keene State pulling away in the fourth when freshman Paxton Blanchard nets his first career goal. The Owls would win 25-6 and will take on UMass Boston on Saturday.
Being a student and an athlete can be very challenging, but being a first-generation college student on top of that adds a whole new set of difficulties. Inside Owl Athletics, Peter Dubois reports how one student has knocked these challenges out of the park.
Shay Crosby is a senior double majoring in elementary education and math. As a first-generation student, she says she's grown a lot the last 4 years.
Just had to take charge because my dad went to college, but only for like a semester or two. And my older brother didn't go, and neither did my mom. So I did have to like kind of find my own way in that sense.
When she's not in the classroom, you can probably find her playing softball.
I think it was really exciting. My first year coming in, there were 33 people that tried out for the softball team, which were numbers that were unheard of at that time. And she came in as a quiet freshman who showed up and did her job on the field. And we knew that that's the kind of person she was based on the previous coach recruiting her and knowing that her softball skill set was very strong. We didn't know what kind of leader she would emerge to be, and by the time now that she's in her senior year, it's really been incredible to see that growth, to see her step up and really be a selfless player. She was when she came in as a freshman, but she's really amplified that quality this year.
One really good thing that our team does is there's so much talent that everyone kind of pushes each other to be better, especially girls in the same position, that it's not like a bad competitive nature, but it's good to push each other to be like the best that they can be.
Crosby says she came to KSC to play the sport she loves, but more importantly, to follow her childhood dream of becoming a teacher.
Growing up, it was a decision, not a realistic decision, but I either wanted to be a singer or be an elementary school teacher. So, I mean, as early as like elementary school, I remember telling my parents that that's what I wanted to do.
She will be a classroom teacher, and she'll be a rock star in the classroom. She has had so much experience with children, and she understands that the skills that are taught through sport are easily translatable to skills that you need to have as a classroom teacher.
Crosby looks forward to finishing out her last season at Keene State and starting the next chapter of her career. Peter Dubois, Inside Owl Athletics.
Shay Crosby's current batting average is the best of her KSC career, coming off a doubleheader where she hit 2 home runs for her team. Softball and men's lacrosse garner our LDC awards this week. Men's lacrosse midfielder Matthew Lemke earned Rookie of the Week after racking up 10 ground balls and going 16 for 19 in faceoffs in the Owls' victory over Salem State. And softball pitcher Molly St. Germain was tabbed as LDC Pitcher of the Week after her outstanding efforts in their last 4 games. And St. Germain's efforts also tabbed her as one of our Owl Athletes of the Week. She's joined by men's lacrosse defenseman Charles Malloy. Malloy makes the list after being a key part in the Owls' defensive line in their win over Salem State.
How many many baseball players do you know of who've pumped up their batting average by more than 100 points in a year? Probably very few, if any at all. But you're about to meet such a player. With me today is senior third baseman Abe Granger, who's enjoying a breakout season for the Owls. Thanks for being here today, Abe.
Very welcome.
These are great improvements, and what would you attribute them to?
Probably the off-season work and working on my swing. Probably using the opposite field a lot this season. Definitely attributed to it a lot. So.
And last season you batted .214, and now you're at .329. What happened there?
I think I probably got up in that bats a lot more. Definitely getting the opportunity to actually swing the bat more often this season definitely gave me, more opportunity to succeed. So. That's
excellent, and you must feel pretty good about your performance lately.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely exciting, especially coming into these next few games. Very important days. So.
Absolutely, and in the beginning of the season, one of your good friends, Christian Bourget, he was injured, and you ended up taking his place. And what was that like for you, personally and on the field?
Christian's one of my best friends and always has been. We've played together for 4 years now, and actually, I'm glad that I get the opportunity to follow in his footsteps. I really look up to him, so I'm just happy that I get to play as well. So.
Now, did he give you any tips or anything when you did take over?
Yeah, we've always kind of just bounced ideas off of each other, and we like to keep things light. So, and we're roommates back at home, so it's always fun to joke around with everything too. So we have fun with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And do you have any personal goals for the rest of the season?
Obviously just keeping my teammates on track and trying to bust out a couple more wins here and there. So I guess we'll see what can happen.
Starting Friday, the team's scheduled to play 8 straight days in a row. How do you think that's going to change up things for you guys with this stop and start schedule you've had going on?
I think it's going to be pretty physically daunting. I think that staying on track with our workout programs and everything like that is going to definitely help with the soreness. But you can always expect rain here and there, especially around these parts. So.
Absolutely.
Just make do with what we got.
Now, do you think playing the 8 straight days in a row will help with preparing for the conference tournament?
Yeah, I think it gives us an opportunity to get into a groove and stick in that groove, and hopefully we can take care of these games earlier than later, like we have been in the past, which is kind of trying to get away from that. So I guess we'll see.
Well, best of luck to the team with the rest of the season, and thank you so much for being here today, Abe.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We kick off next week's schedule with a jam-packed Saturday as the men's and women's track and field teams compete in the Springfield College Invitational. Baseball is on the road to face UMass Boston in a doubleheader with the first pitch at noon. And women's lacrosse is also on the road. They'll head to Eastern Connecticut for a 12 p.m. matchup. And men's lacrosse will be on the road heading to UMass Boston for a 1 p.m. start. Softball remains at home for a few games against Rhode Island College. Game 1 is at 1 and the other at 3. And baseball returns to their home diamond on Sunday, squaring up against Babson College at 1. Softball is also at home on Sunday, making up their doubleheader against Plymouth State starting at 1 p.m. And baseball will face the Panthers on Monday, then they'll face them on the road on Tuesday with the first pitch scheduled for 3:30. Softball defends their home field against UMass Boston on Tuesday starting at 3:30. And the men's lacrosse team hits the turf once again on Tuesday, taking on Western Connecticut at 7 p.m. Baseball will be at home on Wednesday, taking on Westfield State at 3:30. And softball wraps up their fun-filled week with a doubleheader against Springfield College, starting at 3:30. And closing out our week is the baseball team. They'll defend their home field against Clark University, starting at 4 p.m. And just a reminder that weather plays a huge role in spring sports schedules. Tune in to KeenOwls.com for all updated schedule changes. Again, that's KeenOwls.com. That's all for this week. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with more KSC Athletics action. For Inside Owl Athletics, I'm Justin Mahan.